wwl-tv, Channel 4, New Orleans. From Louisiana's news leader, this is Channel 4's Eyewitness News Nightwatch.
Good evening. Al Copeland's lenders say the move brings stability, but the Chicken King himself says he doesn't like the deal. Today in a Texas court, Al Copeland Enterprises filed for voluntary bankruptcy in order to protect its Popeyes and Church's operations. Mike Longman reports on the court action and reaction to the move.
Employees at Copeland's headquarters got the news late this afternoon.
Of course, the first thing everybody wanted to know, where we're going to get paid. Our paycheck's going to be good, and Al assured us that everything would be fine.
It may be called voluntary bankruptcy, but Al Copeland says Chapter 11 was his only option.
I got to tell you that I'm not happy with the way this deal worked out. I'm still not happy with the position we're in.
Because of the protection afforded by the bankruptcy court, Popeyes will continue to serve up its famous fried chicken. And Church's, the acquisition that started the empire teetering, is also doing business as normal. The big question now is, will the businesses continue with or without Al Copeland at the top?
And in the final analysis, they may well have decided, look, we need new management in there. He's not going to go voluntarily. And this is one way we can force it. We'll offer him, if anything, an arrangement by which he gives some marketing expertise or product development expertise, but we bring in what we view as competent professional managers.
Signs of support for Copeland are popping up everywhere. Longtime employees say Al is a key ingredient in the success of the fast food chains.
It's his baby. It's his company. He built it, and it would be hard to imagine Popeyes without Al.
While it is true Copeland's the one who started Popeyes from scratch, he is also the manager who ran up $390 million in debt.
I believe that Popeyes and Church's will always be here because they're good concepts, but I may not always be here.
For years, Copeland has called all of the shots himself. Even if he is offered the option to stay, probably the bigger question is whether he still wants to run his empire with a judge looking over his shoulder. Mike Longman, Eyewitness News, Nightwatch.
This will be a joyous weekend for many New Orleans families as dozens of soldiers are due to arrive home from the Persian Gulf. One Marine landed this evening, welcomed home by dozens of friends. Some he actually met face-to-face for the first time tonight. Dana Howard reports.
Like kids waiting for their matinee idol, they watched intently, balloons in hand, posters ready to wave, tickled at the thought that soon they'll get a chance to greet their new American hero named Trey Jingle. Trey Jingle, who calls himself just a Marine grunt, is super Marine to these folks and also super friend.
When I first saw him walking up, my heart just dropped. Seeing him again, I ain't saw him in so long. He's the best friend of mine. Hey, this is my buddy.
But many of these friends are very new, like the ladies from the local support group, kids from his old grammar school and junior high. None had laid eyes on him before today, but during his 4 months of duty, talked plenty on paper.
I just asked him how he was, same basically as them, just how he's doing and how the Marines were doing.
How is he feeling and how does he do everything there?
If I wasn't training or on a patrol or doing something with the Marine Corps, I was probably writing these people back. I've gone through a lot of paper and a lot of pens. Thank God for free mail, because I'd have been hurting on stamps.
But tonight he has plenty of hugs, even for friends made right on the spot.
Other people that didn't even know what was going on came to participate in Trey's homecoming. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
We even have a family from Mississippi that didn't even know him but saw his picture in the paper and wrote him a letter, and he started corresponding with them.
And in these face-to-face messages delivered to Trey, his friends keep their words short. It's good to see you, Trey. Welcome home. Dana Howard, Eyewitness News, Nightwatch.
In the midst of a joyous homecoming today, grim news for 31 major military bases across the country, including 2 in Louisiana. The Defense Department released its hit list, targeting bases that will be partially or totally shut down. Fort Polk and Leesville will likely lose 15,000 soldiers. England Air Force Base in Alexandria, home of the 23rd Tactical Fighter Wing got the worst possible news. It is slated to be closed down completely. But the news was not a shock to Congressman Clyde Holloway.
And we're a one-wing base. We have A-10s, which are going to be phased out through time. So you try to counterbalance it. I think we offer a lot to the Air Force, but when you go to talking about economizing the military, a small base is not as economical as a large base. So we knew we needed another wing. We knew we needed another mission. And we don't have either of those. So even though we thought we had a lot to offer and hoped we could survive with it, we knew there was a chance that we would be on the hit list.
Those closures are part of a Pentagon plan to cut U.S. military forces by 25%. Governor Romer says tonight he's concerned over charges of racism and gerrymandering leveled by black lawmakers in connection with reapportionment plans passed by the House and Senate. Romer says his best guess is he won't veto either plan, but he does have questions in particular about the Senate plan. Black legislators say the increase in black districts allowed by the Senate plan does not represent black voters in the state. Some lawmakers charge racism.
My job is to try to quiet the tempers down and take a look at it and send it to justice for their approval. I hope there was no racism. I see no evidence of that. I want to say this for the House and the Senate. They stepped forward with a decent plan with a sharp increase in black majority districts. That's a fact.
Romer spoke at a Southern Christian Leadership Conference banquet tonight. He says he will pore over both reapportionment plans this weekend. New Orleans Mayor Sidney Bartholomew says he will delay a controversial bond refinancing election. Voters were supposed to go to the polls May 4th. Now they'll have to wait until July. The vote affects about $200 million in city budget funds. The government has released new figures on the homeless in this country. According to the 1990 census, there are almost 230,000 homeless people in America. That is less than 0.1% of the total population in the U.S. The largest number counted, 34,000 in New York City. Louisiana is listed as having about 1,700 homeless, or about 0.8% of this state's population. However, some advocates for the homeless say those numbers are a gross underestimate. The attorney for the woman who says she was raped by William Kennedy Smith wants police to look into possible witness tampering. Attorney David Roth says attempts at damage control by the Kennedys are tantamount to obstruction of justice. Roth says detectives have used bullying tactics to try to block charges against the 30-year-old nephew of Senator Ted Kennedy.
Information at our disposal. We have today requested that the Palm Beach Police and State Attorney's Office fully investigate these allegations of witness tampering. If they are true, they would, in our opinion, constitute the criminal offense of obstruction of justice.
At this particular time, I don't know the location of Mr. Smith as far as an arrest. We're still what we call reasonable suspicion. We're putting together probable cause. We'll get those lab reports back next week. We'll evaluate the situation at that time. We'll not elaborate on when we will make an arrest. Thank you.
Smith, who is a senior in medical school in Washington, D.C., has said the woman's claims of rape are false. Still ahead on Nightwatch, the suffering intensifies for the Kurdish refugees fleeing Saddam Hussein's wrath. And NASA celebrates the successful launch of a rocket carrying a $40 million payload.
You're watching Louisiana's news leader, Channel 4's Eyewitness News Nightwatch.
Retaining good employees today means more than just salaries. It requires benefits, such as 401k, 125 cafeteria, medical and dental benefits, safety programs, and discount programs. That's why I contracted with Consolidated Corporate Services Incorporated. All I have to do is earn the money.
Let Consolidated Corporate Services be your personnel manager. Call 1-800-966-9555.
It's a classic, and it's back. So lace them up and get back on court for the McDonald's 3-on-3 Classic. Street-style basketball at its best. And it's all for a great cause. It's the last week to register for the McDonald's 3-on-3 Classic. Register now at any participating McDonald's location. Sponsored by McDonald's and the Greater New Orleans Toyota dealers. It's a jam.
This card is your key to extra savings now at Soundtrek. For a limited time, charge anything from Soundtrek's huge inventory of car and home electronics and computers and get 0% financing until August. Nothing down, no interest, and no payments when you charge this RCA video recorder with remote and save $80 at just $199. Or save $61 on a Panasonic 19-inch TV with remote control at just $238. This card is your key to extra value on everything high-tech from Soundtrek.
Schwagman helps you swing in the spring with big savings. Check out our low price on Nabisco Ritz Crackers, $1.89. Look for other great buys like Crest toothpaste, now $1.59. Pay just $2.99 for 42-ounce Ultra Cheer laundry detergent. And take home grade A fresh whole fryers, priced low at just 59 cents a pound.
Everything checks out better. Check out Schwagman. Check out Schwagman now.
For thousands of American troops, the formal declaration of a ceasefire in the Gulf War could only be good news. But for the thousands of Iraqi refugees fleeing Saddam Hussein's forces, it has brought nothing but more fear. Kurds say the U.S. designated safe havens in northern Iraq are not very safe.
People were very, very worried when Americans leave this area, because the people think there's no safety for them. Saddam may come and kill them.
Out Iraq, out Iraq. USA, Europe, no problem.
The Allies continue to drop relief supplies to the refugees, sometimes at the cost of lives. An unconfirmed 9 refugees were killed by the dropping of supply bundles this week. Meanwhile, Secretary of State James Baker says he is firmly behind a major relief effort for the Kurds and other Iraqi refugees. He was in Geneva today trying to put together a Mideast peace conference.
There must be this massive international relief effort in order simply to save lives. And it has to take place without regard to where the people are and without regard to what the conditions are in Iraq respecting their repatriation.
Jordan gave Baker a conditional yes to peace talks today if Israel agrees to give up land for peace. The world's largest computer company is reporting its first ever quarterly loss. IBM is reporting a $2 billion deficit. The company blames most of the problem on the recession. The stock market posted another gain today as it continues to inch toward the 3,000 mark. Analysts say investors are responding to a Labor Department report that consumer prices declined last month. Financial analyst Fred Siegel is here with a look and more on the Dow and the stock market
this week. This will be value added tonight. The theme music for the market this week could have been home on the range, the trading range, that is. Prices experienced big swings in both directions, but all within the same narrow price range of the last 4 weeks. You can see what I mean. Stocks got off to a good start, then had a precipitous plunge before recovering the last 2 days. But when all the dust had settled, the Dow Industrial Average was only 24 points higher, closing above the 2,900 round number once again. Investors were encouraged by the best inflation statistics in years, but were disappointed when the Federal Reserve did not respond to the numbers by lowering interest rates. By the way, if you're investing in small companies, you're probably doing better than the blue chips. The NASDAQ over-the-counter market experienced the greatest trading volume a better trading volume than the New York Stock Exchange for the 3rd week in a row, and it closed at a new all-time high. Our local stock index did not keep pace with the national, but one stock did exceedingly well, IMREG Incorporated. It moved up 263% the last 5 days, going from 69 cents to $2.50 a share. In sum, there was a lot of sound and fury on Wall Street, but little forward progress. On the other hand, the smaller companies on Main Street are the ones who are not looking back.
Why the IMREG climb?
There were a number of unsubstantiated rumors, I might emphasize unsubstantiated, ranging the gamut, really, from a new tuberculosis cure to new investment capital.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Fred. An unmanned Delta rocket blasted off from Cape Canaveral tonight. The rocket is carrying a $40 million communications satellite originally scheduled to leave 3 years ago. But NASA officials had to cancel the launch after the Challenger accident. Coming up, 2 of golf's biggest stars battle it out for the green jacket. Jim has sports.
Right now at Spinato Chrysler on Canal Street, it's a spectacular factory-authorized sale. Our huge inventories mean for a limited time only, you can get a spectacular deal. Save thousands on our best sellers, including Acclaim, Sundance, Voyager, Imperial, and LeBaron. Spinato is also offering tremendous factory incentives on automobiles and minivans. But you must hurry. The only thing we can't give you is time.
The best deals you've ever seen. Spinato Chrysler, New Orleans. More than you know, girl of my heart, I love you so.
More than mascara from Estee Lauder. More than lengthening, more than thickening, more than separating. Everything you want for your lashes and more. More than mascara, now at Maison Blanche.
It's WWL-TV's Good News. 10 minutes of just what's what. Plus the chance to win a grand prize every month.
Hi, I'm Dale Phillips, and this month, Good News is coming to you from Chalmette Battlefield.
And you could win a trip for two to New York. You'll fly U.S. Air with guest accommodations courtesy of the Sheraton New Orleans. There's a prize ticket inside every tape. So get WWL-TV's Good News Video Magazine, a free rental from any movie time.
Here's what people have to say about Michael Hebert's credit breakthrough.
I shopped at other furniture stores and found that financing was truly easy here at Michael Hebert's.
I thought I had credit problems until I came to Michael Hebert and I got it approved.
Yes, I've been bankrupt. Both my husband and I have been bankrupt, but Michael Hebert got us approved.
We've helped hundreds get credit they didn't think they could get, and now you can get real bargains like this. 3-piece sofa, love, chair in a rich velvet fabric for $8.99 or $36 a month. That's Michael Hebert in Elmwood, where we save you money.
Next week, Dr. Brobson Lutz talks about kidney transplants and donating organs. And Tuesday, Frank Davis says he's cooking healthy with New Orleans-style tortillas. Join us next week.
In other news making headlines tonight, transcripts from the FAA reveal a misunderstanding between a pilot and the flight advisor may have contributed to the crash of the plane carrying singer Reba McEntire's band last month. All 10 people on board died. President Bush was among those attending a memorial service today for Senator John Hines of Pennsylvania. Hines and 6 others died in the collision of a plane and a helicopter in Philadelphia 2 weeks ago. And 2 research monkeys were put to sleep today at Tulane's Primate Research Center on the North Shore. Researchers performed tests on the monkeys' brains after putting them under fatal anesthesia. The U.S. Supreme Court cleared the way for the operation today. A thrilling day at Augusta today,
and
right?
It is shaping up like it's going to be a great weekend. It's said of the Masters that it doesn't really begin until the back 9 on Sunday. Jack Nicklaus and Tom Watson showed why today. You can make up or lose a lot of ground very quickly there. The two paired together were both at even par at the turn. Then par became an irregular thing. Watson dropped an eagle on 15. Earlier, Nicklaus endured his worst hole in his 3 decades there. On number 12, he disobeyed a cardinal rule, he said, by not aiming over the bunker so backspin would leave him in the sand. Instead, it left him in the water, and so did his pitch from the drop area. Nicklaus took a quadruple bogey 7 on the hole, and it looked bad until he quickly righted himself.
And that's just, I mean, it just kills you. I mean, it just destroys a golf tournament. And I was fortunate enough to come back and make, 4 pretty nice birdies.
Nice indeed. His last of the 4 on number 16 was a thing of beauty that left the gallery hollering for him as if it were 1975 all over again. They weren't still for long afterward. Watson will look over his long putt for birdie and do much the same thing, finding a side entrance to the hole. The 40 and 50-something twosome had awakened the echoes of years long ago.
I watched Jack make that putt at 16, and that was some great putt. I tipped my hat to him. Couldn't believe he made the putt, and I was just trying to get it close, and the darn thing fell in.
So Watson, after a 68, a pair of them really, now at 8 under par after 36 holes, in the leader by 2 over Mark McCumber, Lanny Watkins, Ian Woosnam, who had a fine 66, and Mark Calcavecchia. At 5 under par, Bernhard Longer, along with Billy Ray Brown, Ray Floyd, and Jose Maria Olazabal. At 4 under par, Jody Mudd, Nicklaus, after an even par 72 that could have been far worse, Hale Irwin and Fuzzy Zeller. And at 3 under par, Rocco Mediate, Steve Elkington, Ian Baker Finch, Mark Brooks, Fred Couples, and Jim Gallagher Jr., Greg Norman among those missing the cut today. The Mets and the Expos tangled in New York tonight in a pitcher's duel. Hubie Brooks connects in the bottom of the fourth for the Mets. They go on top 1-0. Runs were scarce and still are. They're in the 10th inning and tied up at 3. This afternoon, the Pirates knocked off the Cubs 3-1. It was the Padres over the Dodgers 4-2. Braves and Reds were postponed tonight by rain in Cincinnati. The Phillies hammered the Cardinals, and Houston edged the Giants 3-2. Turning our attention to the American League in Milwaukee at Toronto. Gary Sheffield with a fancy stop of Rance Mulliniks of the Blue Jays in a scoreless game through 2 innings. In the top of the 5th, with the Blue Jays ahead 2-0, Dante Bichette cracks a solo homer, and the Toronto lead is cut in half. One batter later, Rick Dempsey connects for number 100 of his long career. His 2-run shot puts the Brew Crew in the lead 3-2, but they would lose in 11, 5-4 to Toronto. Chicago got by Detroit 4-1. Minnesota blanked California 6-0. In the 7th, Kansas City leads New York. In the 8th, it's Baltimore 3 and Texas 0. Seattle 1, Oakland 1 in the 1st. Ricky Henderson not in the lineup tonight. Probably won't play in the entire weekend series against Seattle because of that strained leg. In the NBA, the former and perhaps future champions collided, with Chicago visiting Detroit early on. Isaiah Thomas throwing up a wild shot that somehow found the bottom of the sack. Michael Jordan at the other end with a pretty reverse for the bucket as the Pistons go on to score a 4-point victory over the Bulls in Detroit, 95-91. New York defeated Indiana 112-108. It was Boston over Miami. In overtime, Minnesota edged Charlotte. New Jersey nipped Cleveland. And Washington over Philadelphia tonight, 95-85. You have a very nice weekend.
You too.
Watch the Masters.
I will.
Good.
Thank you, Jim. Dave is up next with a warm and a little bit wet weekend outlook.
Come rediscover American value at the National Dodge Sell-A-thon, presenting some of the best Dodge deals ever. Total savings up to $4,370. Savings up to $4,200 on Ram pickups. Up to $1,700 on Shadow convertibles. Air conditioning at no extra charge on Caravans, plus $500 cash back. But hurry, these deals can't last forever.
See your Super 3 New Orleans Dodge dealers, Julian Graham, Benson, and Ray Brandt.
A contagious Caribbean beat, a smooth, sultry saxophone, a futuristic fiddle, and a few good licks on the electric guitar made Entourage the hottest ensemble under the sun at last year's Jazz Search. Now, grab a good seat and catch a whole new batch of local bands as they compete in Jazz Search 91. Continuing this weekend at Audubon Zoo, co-sponsored by wwl-tv Channel 4.
Courtesy Honda has the sale to end all sales. Get 91 Hondas at 88 prices. At Courtesy Honda, all cars are clearly priced. No haggling, no pressure. Come to Courtesy Honda and take your choice. Get this new 91 Accord 2-door coupe with power moonroof, cassette, air, cruise, and more for just $13,994. Or get this new 91 Accord 4-door sedan with power moonroof, air, cassette, tilt, and more for only $13,994. Better hurry, sale ends soon. Courtesy Honda, where I-10 crosses Veterans and Metairie.
Levitt's is loaded with furniture bargains right now during their giant spring sale.
You'll love it at Levitt's.
See why more people buy furniture at Levitt's than anywhere else.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. You're really gonna love it.
Only $88.99 buys your choice of these bedroom pieces: twin headboard, nightstand, 3-drawer chest, small hutch, hamper, or mirror. Other pieces also sale priced.
You'll love it at Levitt's.
Tornadoes and very heavy thunderstorms blasted across the nation's midsection today. Homes, businesses, and cars were destroyed in parts of Nebraska where twisters and baseball-sized hail were reported. Witnesses say mobile homes were literally cut in half by falling trees. Boy, it makes you never want to complain again about what we've got.
For that part of the country, the spring is when you have most of your storms, and we're going to
Right.
find out why in just a minute.
All right.
But no storms outside, not here in the city at any rate. Right now, it's in the middle 70s under mostly cloudy skies, 74 at the airport.
at Audubon and at Slidell. The humidity 84%, the winds from the southeast at 12 miles per hour, and the pressure 30.07 and rising. There are no showers or thunder showers around the metropolitan area, but those showers and thunderstorms still persist in the Macomb area northeastward toward Laurel, but that's all drifting toward the east and northeast, at least slowly, and I think most of that activity may be over within the next 2 hours or so. Here in the metro area, it's in the 70s, up in Macomb, 69. That's the coolest spot. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies and a little breezy. That's the weather outside. Look at all the showers and thunder showers over the nation's midsection, north from Mississippi all the way to the Great Lakes, to the Rockies, and to the East Coast. What causes all these showers? Let's take a look at what's going on. You'll notice the low pressure center here in the plains. That's drawing moisture from the Gulf and the Atlantic in a counterclockwise direction around it. But look, cooler air is coming in the west side. This kind of activity provides a lot of moisture, and moisture is the fuel which produces these strong spring systems. There's also the jet stream that happens to be running right up over that region here. And anytime you get a jet stream moving up across that region, it lifts the air, cools the air, condenses the moisture, and you get those big showers and thunderstorms like we have in the Midwest today, and we're going to have more of them tomorrow to the north of us. There'll be some widely scattered showers in our area here tomorrow and on Sunday as well. Those should end sometime on Monday, although I think the greatest chance will probably be Sunday afternoon or Sunday night, somewhere in that time frame. And mixed with that, there could be a few widely scattered thunderstorms as well. But right now, I think we're not looking for all-day rains over the weekend, nothing like that. Overnight tonight, a few isolated showers, just a possibility. Lows 68 to 73 degrees. Winds from the southeast at 10 to 18 miles per hour tomorrow. Mostly cloudy again. Warm with the high temperature 79 to 84 degrees. There'll be a few widely scattered showers and perhaps some isolated thunderstorms, and a little bit better chance for showers and thunderstorms as the front approaches on late Sunday, Sunday night, and early on Monday. But just a chance. Most of the showers will be well to the north. That's because that's where the big low center is. On Tuesday and Wednesday, if the front gets through, it'll be a less humid, a little more sunshine, and a bit cooler. Small craft advisory continues in effect for southeast winds at times as high as 15 to 25 knots. There could be a few widely scattered thunderstorms. Finally, here are your tides, one high, one low. The range, just over a half a foot.
All right. Thank you, Dave. Coming up, the winner of an Oprah Winfrey lookalike contest is not all that meets the eye.
Let me tell you my fantasy. I'm driving with the stereo on, the sunroof's open, just me and Michael winding our way to this little bed and breakfast in my Nissan Stanza. Oh, I know, as fantasies go, it sounds pretty tame. But you should see my real life.
Nobody beats Home Depot. Nobody. Home Depot will beat any price, any store, any identical item, any day. And low prices are just the beginning. To dress up any room, choose from our beautiful selection of board and wallpaper. And for great-looking tile projects, use quality grout, mortar, and sealer from Custom Building Products.
When you're with us at Home Depot, you feel right at home.
It's a classic, and it's back. So lace them up and get back on court for the McDonald's 3-on-3 Classic. Street-style basketball at its best. And it's all for a great cause. Get a jump on the McDonald's 3-on-3 Classic, April 20th and 21st. Register now at any participating McDonald's location. The McDonald's 3-on-3 Classic. It's a jam.
When Winn-Dixie says in their commercials that they save you money, who are they supposed to be cheaper than? A really high-priced convenience store? I don't call charging $2.40 more than the real superstore for a thing of Tide liquid saving money, but that's exactly what my Winn-Dixie wanted last week. And Winn-Dixie wanted 60 cents more for Jif peanut butter and $1.20 more for Scope. Winn-Dixie has the convenience thing all over Superstore, but I could send my son to Superstore in a cab and still save money.
They say everyone has a lookalike out there somewhere. Well, so does Oprah Winfrey, but you can bet she did not count on this. A transsexual from Flint, Michigan is the winner of the Ladies' Home Journal Oprah Winfrey Lookalike contest. Jaquin Stitt, a Flint Water Department employee, will appear on the show next month.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at her and say, girlfriend, I'm so tired of people telling me I look like you. And just to freak her out.
The Journal checked with their attorneys and found they could not disqualify Stitt because he is not a she. Stitt says he is going to have a sex change operation. No comment. That's the news. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Good night.
Saturday. From latest looks to things for cooks, save big at the one-day sale.
Maison Blanche, yeah!
Morgan's inventory reduction sale is now in progress with incredible savings on all spas, tubs, pools, and buildings. Luxury spas from only $19.95, manufactured by Morgan and guaranteed for 10 years. Choose from endless styles, sizes, and colors. Morgan Whirlpool bathtubs from just $8.95. Morgan maintenance-free buildings, the best you can buy. All carry a 40-year guarantee with payments as low as $35 monthly. But hurry, buildings and spas are selling fast and sale ends soon.
This is Pontiac Green Light excitement time. Time to move. Because your Pontiac dealer has been given the go on deals like these. $1,000 cash back on new 91 Grand Ams, plus $500 in option package savings equals a $1,500 value, plus an additional $600 for qualified first-time new car buyers. Total maximum value, $2,100 on a new Grand Am with air, cruise, tilt wheel, and more. Go for the green now. Superetti, Superior, Mossy, Greg LeBlanc, or Deep South.
By the year 2000, will we bury our garbage or will it bury us?
Is the tide changing for the future of our precious wetlands?
And can we stop polluting our state without choking the economy?
Now it's time to clear the air during a special forum on our future.
Join us as we ask if Louisiana still has an outside chance.
Live Wednesday night at 8 on wwl-tv Channel 4.
Food and eating, as we know here from New Orleans, was one of the great pleasures in life. I'd much rather eat very sensibly for breakfast and lunch and then have a nice, normal, good dinner. Have a good time.
Dining with Julia Child, Monday at 4 on Channel 4. Perry Mason, Sunday nights on Channel 4.
And now, with today's Channel 4 editorial, here is Phil Johnson.
Good evening. The war in the Persian Gulf came to an official end this week with the issuance by the United Nations of the ceasefire declaration. And now, the real test begins. The test to see just how the United Nations will and can go about enforcing the demands made upon the Iraqi government. These were spelled out in a resolution passed by the United Nations last week. They require Iraq to destroy its chemical and missile stockpiles, to pay reparations to Kuwait, possibly even to Israel, for damage inflicted, and to accept a UN observer force on its border. Iraq grudgingly accepted all the terms of the resolution, which will result in the departure of American troops from its territory. These troops will be replaced by a UN peacekeeping force made up of Arab troops of the Gulf nations. Now the UN is talking about dealing with the Kurdish problems within Iraq and the possibility of setting up a zone where Kurds would be safe from Iraqi attack. Again, the Iraqi government is protesting and even went so far as to say that the Kurdish refugee problem is an invention of the Allies, in spite of television and newspaper stories to the contrary. Everybody praised the UN when it formed its coalition and sent a multinational force against Iraq. That was a first, and it was a success. Now the real test will come when the Americans pull out and the UN begins to enforce all the strictures it has placed against Iraq. We won the war. Now we find out who wins the peace. Good evening.
This has been a statement of opinion by the management of WWL-TV. If you disagree, we invite your reply.